welcome you today to our cyber safety event. My name is Heather Kellstrom. I am the Director of Instructional Technology for Saline area schools. It is an exciting day for us. We think cyber safety, security, and ethics are very important, and we know you do too, so it's a match made in heaven. Today you're going to get to have a great experience. You're all going to be trained on the C-Safe curriculum. Cyber safety, security, and ethics are really a shared responsibility. We love that. As a school system, we always hear, it's your job, and we welcome everybody in to help us out. So we're excited that we get this training today, and we have 7 classrooms that are eagerly awaiting you to come in and get them excited about it. I have some thanks we need to get underway, and then I'll pass it over in just a minute. Kristen Judge, everybody knows Kristen Judge. We need to thank her. She's spearheaded. She connected all of the dots. She put everybody together and on the same page for this event. Amy Larson is going to be our facilitator today. She's from the National Cybersecurity Alliance. We're excited to have you and share your wealth of knowledge for this event. Christina Dorville, where are you? In the back? Hi. From Department of Homeland Security. She's going to help us out in the afternoon. We have one very special guest here today. Oh, there he is. And we're going to have him say a few words. This is Greg Shaffer. He is the Department of Homeland Security Deputy Undersecretary. We are thrilled that we have a special guest here to tell us a little bit about today.
Sure. Well, thank you. Frankly, I'm not the most special guest. You all who are going to do the training with us are equally important to this process. This program is phenomenal in a variety of ways. We just had the opportunity to do this at my children's school in Arlington, Virginia, and the reaction from the kids is quite spectacular. They're more cyber savvy than we realize, and yet no one has, for the most part, typically talk to them about these issues. So they get it right away, and yet they haven't really thought about it. And so the opportunity to really get them focused on some of those areas and then be a good influence, not just for themselves, but on their parents and the entire community at large is really a neat opportunity to see how this works. Our society has changed dramatically over the course of the last 10 years. We used to use these computers for a real narrow subset of what we were as a society. And as you know, that's not the case anymore. There is no profession, there is no work that we do, there is no recreation that we have, there is no critical infrastructure that we're engaged with that doesn't rely on this technology at one level or another. And because of that, this is enormously important to this next generation. The fact is, these kids are using a mouse before they're bouncing a ball. They are, they are natives to this space. We are, folks who moved in after it started up, and so they're much better at it than we are, and they're going to come up with amazing things to do with it. We want them to be thinking about that in a frame that is consistent with the cyber ethics, cyber security, and cyber safety concepts that you'll hear about through the training this morning, and that we'll tell the kids about as we go forward to the classrooms this afternoon. So thank you for being here. We appreciate it enormously that you've given up your time to do this, and I'm going to enjoy this as much as anybody. Watching the kids react to it is really a lot of fun. So thank you for having me. Thank you for taking this on and doing the program today. And go ahead with the training.
Thank you, Mr. Shaffer. Before I turn it over to Amy, do we just want to do a quick round robin so we all know playing field? Who does what around here? Just a first name and who you're affiliated with. We'll start over with you, Mr. Graydon.
I'm Scott Graydon, Superintendent of Saline Area School.
I'm Lori Dawson. I work over at middle school in the media and tech.
Tammy Woodman, PTA President for Woodland Meadows.
I'm Steve Lotch, Assistant Superintendent for Instruction for Saline Schools.
Chris Boyer with AT&T.
I'm J.R. Cunningham with McAfee.
Sherry Tesla, AT&T Public Safety.
Got you, AT&T.
Kat Anderson, AT&T 911.
In the back.
Julie Perea, Cyber Safety Facilitator for Washtenaw Area Council for Children.
Robin Madden, Cyber Safety Program Facilitator. Same.
David Rapp, middle school principal.
Michelle Chekowitz, principal of Woodland Meadows.
I'm Les Sharon, I'm the principal here. Very good.
Brett McDowell with PayPal.
Ian Mormon, Chief Security Officer for the State of Michigan.
Michael Kaiser, National Cybersecurity Alliance.
Kristen Judge.
Yeah.
Don Lupi, Saline Police Detective.
Brad Bizu, Principal, Pleasant Ridge Elementary.
Joel Benedict, social worker at Heritage.
Our friends in the back.
Greg Hart, support the Department of Homeland Security.
I was introduced by Christina Derby. I'm with the Department of Homeland Security also.
Vladimir scored the most of the Homeland Security.
We like to stand.
That's okay.
Emily Eklund with the National Cybersecurity Alliance. Maura Katie with the National Cybersecurity.
Great. Well, welcome, Amy. You want to introduce yourself, and I'll turn it over to you. 1:45 is our time to get to the classroom.
Okay, great. So my name is Amy Larson Kirkpatrick. I'm with the National Cybersecurity Alliance. I'm the Director of Communication and Outreach. And thank you all so much. I'm a little overwhelmed that there's so many people here that are interested in this program. And I have to say I'm a little nervous. There's so many principals in the room. But the first thing I'm going to say is we're getting more copies of these materials. But the first thing I'm going to say is you do not have to be a technical expert to do this program. This program is really about getting kids to start thinking about making good decisions, thinking about what they're doing. It's not about knowing the ins and outs of malware and how to solve problems on a computer at the technical level. It's about making good decisions. So I'm going to pass these out. More copies are being made, so we'll get them to you. Today we are focusing on the curriculum for 3rd through 5th graders. You'll be going into 4th grade classrooms. So this is the Cybersecurity Awareness Volunteer Education Program. It was really developed when a couple of NCSA board members came to NCSA and said, I'm going into my kids' classrooms, but I don't have any good materials. Do you have anything for me? And so we put this program together, and it has been a tremendous success. And there are actually a couple of people here today that have had the opportunity to go into classrooms and do this program. Chris Boyer is one of them. He's done it several times now, I think. And Greg Shaffer has also had the opportunity to do it several times. You do not have to follow the curriculum exactly as it is. It's a framework to give you some guidelines for how to talk about online safety and security with kids. Certainly, if you bring technical expertise, we'd encourage you to share that, but remember too that you're talking to young children who may not necessarily be able to grasp exactly what a virus is or malware or a botnet. You want to talk to them like you would talk to your own kids, or how you might explain something to a colleague or friend that doesn't have a technical background. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to introduce yourself in the classroom, tell the students why you're here, that you're here to talk about online safety and security, and share a little bit about your background and why this is important to you, or if you actually have a career in cybersecurity like Chris or Greg or Brett McDowell back there from PayPal, what got you into the field. Part of our hope is to maybe inspire a few young people to think about pursuing a career in cybersecurity. The next thing is ask the kids how they're using technology. I find it helpful to say, how do you use the internet? And get the students to raise their hands and give you feedback. They're using mobile devices, they're using email, they might be using Skype, and that will also give you kind of a sense of how they're using technology, because depending upon where you are and the socioeconomic status of the area, some kids have much more access than other kids, but all kids really are using technology these days. Some maybe a little bit more savvy than others. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to play a video for them. And okay. This is a video for the Stop, Think, Connect campaign, which is the national campaign for cybersecurity awareness, and will help frame your discussion with the kids. And this has been loaded in the classrooms already for you.
And you know a lot of people still got this internet thing all twisted. So in case you missed it, well, email. Ask yourself, is this too good to be true? And if it says yes, don't click on through. Check yourself before you type a name in. Chill with the bullying and the blaming. Now that you might explode your roll, now that you got some self-control, now that you're being responsible. 1, 2, 3, and away we go. Stop, that's what we do from the start. Think before we go too far. Think like a human, U-S-C-S-C-O-N-N-E-C-T. Stop. Think. Connect. Check yourself before you get wrecked. Stop. Think. Connect. I don't believe you heard me. I said stop. Think. Connect. Check yourself before you get wrecked. Stop. Think. Connect.
And if any one of you think that you'll ever forget that,
We'll be doing karaoke later, so you're gonna watch this. You're gonna have the kids watch this video, and then following the video, you're going to talk about Stop, Think, Connect. And so on page 2, there's a brief framework for how to talk about it. Why do they tell us to stop? Because we need to stop and understand what the dangers of the internet are, what the risks are, and how to make good decisions about going online. So you want to ask the students what some of the potential problems are, get them to raise their hands. We've got a lot of educators in here, so as much as you can get the students to engage with you, the better. Get them to name these things. I'm always surprised by how much students actually know about these risks. They've actually heard of viruses, they've heard of malware, they've heard of fraud. They may not know exactly what all of that means, but they know that there are these bad things out there. And then of course, we also want to get them to think about bullying. Cyberbullying is bullying. I'm sure that you're all dealing with online problems like that. And you might want to get them, especially with things like fraud and spam, maybe get them to define that with you a little bit. Fraud is a trick that somebody plays on you that's not nice and can result in harm. So that's what I try to do when I work with the kids, get them to help me define what some of these terms are and think about it. So then we're going to talk about think. What are some of the things that you can do to protect yourself while you're online? And again, solicit as much information from the kids as possible. And here, you really want to focus on, in particular, the sharing or not sharing of passwords. That's something that we know that kids are very susceptible to. They share their account information and their passwords with people, and it often results in cyberbullying and other online problems. So kids really should only be sharing passwords with their parents, and that's it. And then also get them to think about personal information and keeping it private. Just like they wouldn't give their home address and phone number to a stranger, we keep our personal information private online, and get them to help you define what personal information is. It's your name, your phone number, your home address, birthday, those types of things. And there are some scenarios where it's okay to share, and you want to get, we often use the www, who is asking for information, why are they asking for that information, and what are they going to do with it. So it really is a framework for how you make decisions about when it's okay to share information, when it's not okay to share information. So really getting them to stop and think about what it is they're doing. And that also works with, clicking on links, ads, videos, downloading games, software, and also really encouraging kids in the think section that if they're not sure if it's a good idea, to ask a trusted adult, whether it's a parent, teacher, resource officer, family friend. Trusted adults can help you make good decisions when it comes to what you're doing online. And then if you are feeling confident, sure that you are doing the right thing, it's okay to connect and go ahead, go online, have fun, and be certain that what you're doing is okay. That is the essence of Stop, Think, Connect. Then the next part of this program step 3 is some scenarios. So we've talked about Stop, Think, Connect already, and we're going to apply this to some critical thinking skills. So we have 3 scenarios that are in here. They actually start on, the scenarios start on the following page. I'm sorry, where did they start? Page 4. So the scenarios start on page 4, and the preceding page gives you the sort of the framework for how you're going to walk through these scenarios with the kids. So the first scenario is about Tommy playing video games. He shares a password, bad things happen, and there's some questions in here that you can use with the kids to get them to give you feedback about what Tommy could have done better, what some of the consequences might have been. And we have 3 more scenarios after that. The next one is about a young girl who replied to a pop-up ad for a contest, used her parents' credit card. The third one is Angel used a peer-to-peer program. You may have to define peer-to-peer program with the student, but some of them are probably familiar with them. LimeWire, Kazaa, I can never remember the names of them all. The reason that we don't want them using peer-to-peer programs is because they can put their parents' computer at risk. They could be illegally downloading music or games. And then the last situation is a cyberbullying situation. And I am encouraging people that this is one situation that they probably do want to use. You'll probably only have time to go through 2 situations with the students. You've got 30 minutes in the classroom. If you have more time, in another situation, you maybe have time to go through all of them. And actually, I have more scenarios that we can send to the school if you're interested in having ongoing conversations. But it seems like all schools are really struggling with cyberbullying, so I encourage you to use this one. But take a little bit of time and read through the scenarios and decide which one that you want to do. And that's really the program. As you're wrapping up, I would encourage you to recap what it is you've learned, what the key points that you've talked about with the students are, and if you have time, then play the Stop, Think, Connect video again. So it's an easy program. It's designed to be flexible. You can shape it to your own knowledge and comfort level, and you can make up different scenarios if you think that there's something that you really need to be covering with your kids. I know Christina has done the program a number of times and is comfortable. She doesn't, I don't think she really follows the format anymore, but uses this framework to be able to talk about, to talk with the kids. Any questions? Nope.
Okay, I think we'll break up into teams. I do want to give you just a little background about our students and what they've experienced. In our AUP, the Stop, Think, and Connect is written into it. So when they sign off on their AUP to get their Gmail, every child 4th grade and up gets a Gmail in this district, they have to sit down with their parents and go over it. So they've seen the word Stop, Think, and Connect, and we continue to push things out. We have a media specialist in this building who takes every 4th grader through the AUP piece by piece, and they've had some of these initial discussions. So I hope as you enter their classrooms today, they're going to be very curious. They're excited to think. They hear it from us. What are we? We work in the school. They can't wait. Somebody wants to know, do I get the security expert? I was in a classroom. They're very excited. So plan where you've come from and what you bring to the table, and the importance even as an adult that you follow that Stop, Think, and Connect also. What I'd like to do is break into teams so you can sit and talk a few minutes before we send you out. I'll start with the Saline area schools employees. Who is staying around to go champion a classroom? Because we have 7 classrooms we're going to go to. So raise your hand, Saline area schools staff, if you're staying around, because I'll have you kind of be a team leader to help out.